Welcome to A Double
and
Dice
with your host Kim.
and Jocelyn.
Pour your favorite beverage,
Pull up a comfy chair.
because we are ready to roll. Welcome to episode 120 of A Double and Dice, and today I'm talking first instead of Kim.
Yeah,
How come?
there's a reason for this.
There is a reason.
You're going to
for
be
this.
doing all the talking in this episode.
So Kim is going to do the dice bag first,
Mm-hmm.
which means I opened the episode, and we're just mixing things up. 120 episodes in. 120 episodes, Kim.
It seems small, but it's not.
No, I was going to say it seems huge.
Yeah, you think, oh, just 120, but that's over, what are we in, 4th year, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot of content.
5 almost.
It's a lot of Dice Masters and other things, conversations.
Yep.
So anyway, so today what we're going to do is I'm going to give everybody a rundown of Gen Con and how Gen Con went for me, because I went there. Me. And Kim, as a result, as we just said, is going to go through the dice bag first. And we actually had like a pretty comprehensive conversation, didn't we, Kim?
Yeah, that Discord was popping after episode 119, which, if you haven't listened to, you can go listen to now. We'll wait, and then when you come back, we'll get, what did we talk about? Suit up. Yes, suit up.
Suit up.
The keyword, suit up. Did you see my picture of the suit up thing I put?
I did. It was very impressive.
Yeah, I'm like, that's a good one. Suiting up as a coffee.
I liked it.
Yeah. So Suit Up was our last episode. So we're going to dive into the dice bag first, talk about all our conversations regarding Suit Up. And then we'll talk the adventures at Gen Con with Jocelyn.
And not Kim.
No.
So tell me, Kim, what's going on? What was the Discord popping about?
Oh, they were popping about Suit Up. So first off, Supernova said there is a Spider-Man with a cape. I don't know if you saw that.
I did. So I know there is a Spider-Man with a cape, but typically Spider-Man does not have a cape.
Yes.
Also, next to me right now, I have a whole stack of those Marvel cards.
The one that you told me about the grocery store or the stores?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Since I got back from Gen Con, every time I go to the grocery store or to Shoppers Drug Mart or anything, I'm getting all the cards. So,
yeah, I saw it all over the place.
Yeah, apparently there's like collectible ones and like holographic ones. And did I tell you? No, I couldn't have told you because we haven't talked since then. Apparently somebody sold a pack, like 92 of these in a what do you call it? Like a lot.
Mm-hmm.
92 of them, including 6 holographic cards for $100 on eBay.
That's not bad.
They're
free. Collect anything.
They're free, people. You just have to go to the grocery store
and spend $25,
and you get 4 cards.
So wait, is it 25 like per? Like if I spend 50, I get 8?
If you spend 50, you would get 2 packages, which would be 8 cards. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, so apparently they're collectible, and I have a whole stack of them here. So I am going to send some. But yes, I understand that there are versions of Spider-Man with a cape, but he doesn't normally wear a cape.
No. So this one was Spider-Man. What does that say? Is that a U?
Spider-Man universe?
Is that what that says?
I don't know.
No, that doesn't say universe under that. You
know how far back I have to scroll to find
Unlimited. Unlimited.
Oh, Spider-Man.
It says Unlimited. It's just weirdly written. It's kind of hard to see it off the Spider-Man Unlimited, which I'm assuming is a comic book.
I think there's also like a Japanese one. Potentially. So.
Well, thank you, Supernova, for pointing that out. It does exist. Rarely. He rarely wears a cape.
Not typically.
Will you tell your friends these at your workplace?
No. No one else is dressing up as superheroes anymore. It's all over. So I have another story about that if you want to hear it.
Okay.
So my Sarnia store. Sarnia is on the border of like Michigan. Sort of like north of Detroit-ish. Anyway, long story, silly conversation, not important. Anyway, so this guy comes down for the grand opening because there was a big renovation, and he's like, "Look, I'm Iron Man," and he was wearing a Captain America shirt.
But nothing else Iron Man.
No, he's like, look, they dressed me up like Iron Man, and we're like, I wasn't there. I heard about it after. So I was like, no, they're like, no, man, you're Captain America. But they didn't tell him. So he was just wearing anyway. So yeah.
People.
Anyway, let's stop talking about Marvel cards and move on with our lives.
All right. So Collector Rob had quite a lot to say about Suit Up.
Tell me.
So I'm going to read this, and I vaguely read it, so I'm just going to read it, and if he says something that shouldn't have been said, okay. But it's public, so you could go in our Discord and read it if you like. So here's what he said. Where do I start with Suit Up? First of all, I acknowledge that it's not that strong, but I really like it as a keyword. The main issue with playing with just the Iron Man War Machine starter is that most of the Suit Up cards are useless, as there isn't an Iron Man in the set. Really?
No,
was it?
There isn't.
No, okay. If you want to use some of them in a Stark End team, then you have to look further afield. Bracket. I like the 3-cost blank one that you mentioned, and also the Bucket O Bolt version in the Thor set. And bracket. The 5-cost Iron Manor gets the extra cost from the global, as it can reduce its high fielding cost, which you can spin down a die with Suit Up to a level 1. Then you can place it with a level 2 one using Suit Up again. You mentioned using 2 of the Iron Spiders to use the Suit Up and when fielded effects, but you obviously can't have 2 different of the same character. So you'd have to look for a useful Spider-Man, although Waldus is a decent card on its own to get those guaranteed level 2 stats.
I think I realized that when I was in the episode, but forgot to call it out.
I really like the rescue abilities, and have only ever used them with suiting up herself. The abilities are really just energize abilities, but bit slightly better as they trigger off an energy phase. Lastly, to potentially the best of the bunch, Thomas Wayne. On the surface, you are correct in your initial analysis. Why would you chuck him in the field rather than a more expensive, powerful Batman? But when you look not at the Batman dice in themselves, but others that could be affected by the Batman KO, then there's huge opportunities for shenanigans. Dick Grayson, great card, by the way. There's one of these great cards. Brand new Bat, which I don't think we talked about, so if you want to look that one up.
I will look it up.
Dick Grayson, brand new Bat, gets a stat bump when any Bat family die is KO'd. Also with Bruce Wayne, I think it's the one with the good Dick Grayson. Also with Bruce Wayne, if one of your character dice are KO'd when you feel Batman from used or you bag, so then you have Batman and Thomas Wayne active. You got it?
Yeah. Dick Grayson, brand new Bat, rare from World's Finest, 6-cost mask, ouch. When a Batman affiliated character dies KO'd, Dick Grayson gets +2 attack, +2 defense, and deals combat damage to your opponent instead of blockers, even if blocked, until end of turn.
It's actually not bad. It's a pretty good one.
And it also has a global pay a mask, target character die, gains Batman affiliation until end of turn. So you could pay a mask to make a sidekick a Batman affiliate, and then KO it with like a magic missile or something. And then Dick Grayson would get the big buff.
So you could stack them up a bit. You can also look at Corvus Glaive, Grim Lieutenant. You can look that one up. To put the Suit Up die back on its card so then be able to suit up again. This also works with Cross Pulse, another underused keyword ability. Did we do Cross Pulse?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Which Corvus Glaive?
Corvus Grim
Lieutenant?
Yep.
Rare 3-cost fist, Black Order affiliation from Infinity Gauntlet. When fielded, you may move a non-sidekick die from your use pile to its card. If you do, deal 2 damage to target character die or player.
Yep. So you can... Yes, I did make notes during this episode, smiley face.
Well, I'm glad somebody did.
Thanks, so it
Rob.
seems like Collector Rob has used a Suit Up before. Nick followed with... I feel like the KO King said this at one point, quote, "Why wouldn't you want to KO your own characters?"
Exactly.
Keep in mind, each time you KO a character, that's more dice for your next turn. Then using the suit up die brings it straight to the field, skipping the bag cycle. So you could easily purchase one rescue. Then when she comes around, field it immediately, suit up the next. You replace the die, keep the bag, and have another to roll next turn. Ideally, one energy for damage, but to also purchase the next one.
It
The
is a
same
good point.
for
It is a good point.
the same for Iron Spider. Just for his stats. We talked about Iron Spider, right? I've definitely seen both played before. It helps immensely when they name themselves. Never really saw the Iron Man ones played much. I know Iron Spider got used a lot on team-up teams. I never used it on team-up teams.
Well, you're not the only person that played team up, Kim.
I know. But from what I like,
no,
other people playing team-up that I saw, nobody had that on their team. You could feel super rare Spider-Man, then quickly grab more characters with the Iron Spider. And Superman, super rare Spider-Man is the one that gets all the affiliations.
Yeah.
Even better, Iron Spider had 2 less used affiliations. Collector Rob responds. If you had super rare Spider-Man, though, then he already had them affiliations, so you didn't need Waldo's in the field specifically, but yes, definitely great stats. Red, who aka Robin, and she said minimum 1 when doing a cost reduction is only for the purchase cost. Field cost can't go to 0, by the way. Bookmaker said there are even effects that state fielding is free as opposed to being reduced by 1 or 2. Robin, I just got an Iron Man and War Machine starter a couple weeks ago, so we'll have to see what I can do with it. So, Robin, you let us know if you do a suit up team or try it out. Bookmaker, this is a tricky starting point. Suit up was a strange thing to hear about. Definitely feels more supplemental with rescue than your primary win condition. And then Collector Rob says, honestly, it is a useful ability, but yeah, it's definitely not a win con. And there was much more going on in the Discord, which I think they went side conversation about some other things. So
they went on a tangent. It's like they learned from us.
Yeah. And then there was a lot of Becky naming. The Becky card came out. Yeah. It's a good card. But yes, I like the global on her card though. But yes, her card itself is very good. Nobody likes it. But yeah, so there's a lot more going on. But thank you everyone who Collector Up for starting that off and letting us know.
And we do appreciate all the notes you took.
Yeah. And actually we had one more in the dice bag, which I completely forgot till now.
That's okay. We're still in the dice bag part.
Yeah, it's an email.
Yeah, we did get an email.
We did. So I'm going to go.
I can pull that up. I have it handy.
Okay.
I meant to reply to it, and I have not yet.
I have it.
I have it here.
Okay.
Do you want me to read it to give you a break?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. We got an email from Andy May. Hi, Andy. We miss you. We haven't heard from Andy in a while. Mm-hmm. Andy May said, Pepper Potts is greater than Rescue. The rare Pepper Potts from Age of Ultron is also good to KO via the Rescue suit up. Pepper Potts can't attack. When Pepper Potts is KO'd, search your bag for an Iron Man die and field it at level 1 for free. There's an aggro opportunity where Iron Man attacks, and when he gets through, he goes to the bag and you KO Pepper and he comes back to the field. It's not brilliant, but it did work a bit. The Rescue suit up makes KOing Pepper easier. A force attack global works for her too, since she can't attack but can defend. Other than that combo and the Pepper that spins down, I don't know that I ever used suit up. And he says he hopes this email finds us well and that Gen Con was great.
Which we'll find out.
Coming soon.
Coming very, very soon.
Just, moments from now.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was great to hear from Andy, and I will remember to reply to him. So, yeah, that's Andy. And then was there something else, Kim? Was there something from the YouTube?
Yes, the YouTube. I forgot about it because it's so tiny here on our screen compared to the other conversation.
You're used to doing the dice bag part.
The YouTubes we got from bookmaker. I was going to say booker maker. It's bookmaker. My screenshot's small, so let me read this. This is also from the same episode. Hey, wait, I'm one of the 4 people listening to this podcast. Again, I'm thankful for any Dice Master content. It really sucks to love this game in the 2015, thinking it was just vanished into the ether from, this is really tiny for me, negligence, only to discover in 22 that it died and came back several times, only to finally die again. Well, we don't know if it's dead yet.
And I don't know that it died before. Like, I think that it died in certain areas, like certain people stopped playing it, but I don't think it ever fully died.
No, and we try to keep it alive, usually online too, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so possibly for the last time. So you two are actually covering a wide swath of game mechanics and sets that I'm still trying to discover and collect.
Yay!
So, I have a question for Bookmaker. When did you actually start? When did you pick up on Dice Masters? Mm-hmm. And when did you start playing? And then he continued, just got to the part where I got a shout out. I wasn't expecting that. Yes, we read everything here. Yep. Well, thank you for your comment, Bookmaker.
Absolutely. And yeah, let us know when you got into it and why you thought that it died. Like, I know there's been some droughts and things like that, but
yeah, like product releases and stuff, and
COVID,
yeah, still a thing.
Pandemic times. Yeah. So welcome and thanks for listening. And we have more than 4 people listening.
Yes,
there's at least 7.
But according to our stats, it's a little bit more than that.
It is. It's just not the heyday of the early days.
Yes. Yeah.
But that makes sense because things are a little bit light right now. So, but we do appreciate all of you that comment and share your thoughts and ideas and all of the things that we didn't think of when we recorded this episode and did our very detailed research in advance. We appreciate all of that. So thanks, everybody.
Now, as we go into the story of, I'm going to name your book, Adventures at Gen Con with Jocelyn.
Dearest gentle listener, this audiobook of my adventures at Gen Con. No, I'm just kidding. Can't do it. So
can't talk like that for the whole time.
No. Have you read the books?
Which books? Oh, the Bridgerton books?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, so I haven't read the books. I've only watched the Netflix series. And then last week, I was visiting some of my stores and we were talking about what people were reading. And they're like, oh, the Bridgerton books are so good. So I downloaded the first 3. I purchased them. But I was only going to buy the first one to see if I liked it. But it was like a 3-pack was $20 versus one book was $10. So I was like, well, that's a great deal.
It's a deal. Yeah.
So now I'm going to read all 3 of them because I paid for them. So anyway, we'll see. But anyway, sidebar, that was the Bridgerton talk. Moving on. So Gen Con, Adventures at Gen Con. So what was Gen Con like this year? So we decided to drive again. We had difficulty getting flights. So flights to Indianapolis continue to be challenged. And I just read this thing about how flights have recovered or not recovered from the pandemic times, because a lot of the smaller flights, like I've talked about the one to Memphis before, how we used to be able to fly direct to Memphis and we can't anymore. And same thing for Indianapolis. Like, a lot of the flights have been removed. So you have to connect and it takes like a whole day to do that, and time in airport and things like that. So anyway, it was difficulty getting flights, and we just decided, we can't really get the flights we want. We don't want to spend all day in airports. We're going to drive. So we drove. So we left on Tuesday night, and we actually drove quite far. We got as far as Toledo in Ohio.
Okay.
So we left in the afternoon. We drove. We did a couple of Instagram lives. If anyone follows Dice Station Zebra on Instagram, we did a couple of Instagram lives while we were driving. Rob did the holding of the phone, and I did the driving. And yeah, we had a good time. We had no problems at the border. Everything was smooth, and thanks to the joy of hotel points, our hotel was free. So
Nice.
we stayed in Toledo for the night. We chilled out. We got ourselves up in the morning. We did a little bit of exploring around Toledo before we left and made our way down to Indianapolis on Wednesday in time to pick up our badges. And one of the first things we did when we got there after we checked into our Airbnb was we went down to pick up our badges and we met up with Nick, Jackalope Spam. So it was super awesome to see Nick. We hadn't seen Nick since last year's Gen Con. And we hung out with Nick for quite a lot of the weekend. So we got our badges, and we ended up playing a game of Railroad Ink Challenge. Have you played that game, Kim?
I own the yellow one.
Okay, so we played the green one.
Okay.
I don't really know what the differences in the colors are.
I think it's just terrain is probably different.
Okay.
I think green one is grassy.
Yeah.
The other one is like sandy or desert.
Yeah.
I think.
Anyway, it was a lot of fun. It's what do you call it? A right?
A roll and right.
Roll and right. Yeah. So you roll the dice and then you draw your little map. And anyway, surprise! Nick, who's played the game before, won.
Surprise!
Like double the points that either Rob or I got. I came in second and Rob came in third, and that was just by like a couple of points difference between Rob and I as we were trying to figure it out. So, but yeah, we had a good time hanging out with Nick. We played that just in the little cafeteria area at the Indiana Convention Center before we separated and went our separate ways, and we had to go get some groceries and all that fun stuff, get ourselves settled. So we did that, and then we started our Gen Con with a easy morning. We had initially planned to be part of a spell duel, which is like a Dungeon Crawl Classics wizard duel thing. Remember, Kim, when we played our DCC game and you did the wizard duel with Rob?
Is that the one we've recently played?
No, with like cleric, when your cleric died. Remember?
We played so many.
I know. Anyway,
if this was early on, like long time ago, I probably wouldn't remember.
Yeah, it was awesome though. So anyway, we were thinking about doing that, and then it was booked for 4 hours, which we felt like was a long time. And then we got a message from Gen Con that it wasn't supposed to be 4 hours, and that the signups were wrong.
Oh, so
they canceled it for us, and they refunded our whatever $2 or whatever it was for the event. And you could just drop in and do it, but we never did prepare to do the spell duel, so we didn't end up doing that. So we just took our time in the morning, and then we got to the hall, and we did a bit of wandering, and somebody sent me with a list.
Not only me.
Not only you. I had a whole list of people that sent me with a list.
I was just the first one.
That's right. So I was like, okay, well, I made a list of the places I need to go. And also, FYI, one of the booths that I needed to go to for you and Matt, Kim, they changed it like 3 times.
What do you mean changed it?
So you gave me the booth number.
Yes.
And I got to that booth number and it wasn't that booth. So then I went into the map and the booth number had changed. So I found the new booth, except it wasn't that booth. It was across the hall.
You know what's funny too? Because I saw that they opened up another booth. So I think they had 2.
It was so weird.
Anyway. It's weird. I wonder why they moved around and didn't change it.
That was for
But you found it.
I did find it. So I picked up stuff for you and Matt, and I picked up Matt Jordo. I picked up stuff for our friend Rue in Scotland, and my friend Matt Ryan, who's local, and I don't remember what else. We picked up some other stuff. Rob did a bunch of shopping. He bought some new role-playing games. We looked at a bunch of cool stuff, and I bought my super awesome Dungeon Crawl Classics wooden and felt dice tray. So what's awesome about this is it's handmade out of like, I think I got walnut wood, and the inside is all felt and it's all hand carved, and it fits all the weird dice, because with Dungeon Crawl Classics, which is the role-playing game that we play most often, it doesn't have a standard set of D&D dice. It also has what they call the weird dice, which are the odds. So in addition to the normal dice, you also have a 7, a 14, 16, 24, and a 30 or something like that. Dice that you wouldn't normally have in a Dungeons and Dragons set. So this fits those dice. It's like a little dice tray, so you can fit those. And it also has the felt, and it's really pretty. And you take the lid off, and you can use it as a dice tray to roll in. It was awesome. I was super happy to get that. They had a very limited number because they're handmade. And last year they sold out on the first day. So I made a point of getting there as soon as we went in. And it was crowded the first day. Like Thursday was so busy. It was like you could barely move in the exhibitor hall. It was insane. So we did that. And then we ate our sandwiches that we had packed. And we headed over to the WizKids area for Hero Clicks, which is...
This was what, Thursday?
Thursday.
Okay.
Yeah. So we did 3 battle royals. They announced that the battle royals were going to be the next set, Masters of Time. It's a DC set. It's not released yet. Pre-release is coming up on August 21st, and the official release date of the set is August 28th. Deadpool Weapon X is the current set, and they did not use that for any of the events. So we did 3 battle royals of Masters of Time. My dice were horrible, but I had a good time. Hung out with some people and got to play with some brand new figures that we'd never seen before. And that's always fun. So that was 3 battle royals. Then we went for dinner. And I think on Thursday, we had Nick with us for dinner. And we had Charlie, Dice Masters player Charlie from somewhere. I don't remember where he's from. I want to say California, but I don't know if that's right. So anyway, Charlie was at Gen Con, and so we messaged him, and he came and met up with us, and we were at this place called Social Cantina. It's like a Mexican street food type place. We had some tacos. They were delicious. I had a really nice margarita. And yeah, so we ate at the bar because it was super busy, and we hung out, and we had a good time. And then again, we went our separate ways and went and chilled out and whatever. And that was Thursday. Friday dawned bright and early for us because it was the first of our 3 role-playing games at 9 a.m. And that's where we go and play on Lucas Oil Stadium Field. So Dungeon Crawl Classics is always on the field. So you go down into the stadium where the football happens. I think it's football. I don't know sports.
It's a football stadium.
I think it's a football stadium.
Yeah, it is.
So we went down into the stadium. It's always a fun time, and people would think it's a bad place to play, but honestly, the noise is really well managed because it's such a high ceiling. You can really hear your table really well. So the game we were playing on Friday morning was what they call the funnel. So Kim, just to give me a break, do you want to tell everyone what a funnel is?
This is
Dungeon Crawl Classics.
Oh man, do you think I remember?
Of course I do. We just did one.
Yeah, okay, so these are like level 0 characters, they call it.
That's right.
And they're pretty much not they're like peasants.
Exactly.
You run like peasants, and then they just go on an adventure, and it's like a short adventure, pretty much. And
yeah,
usually you're expected to die, but not last time.
And if you have anybody left at the end, they can level up and to become a level 1 character. So basically, you're playing people that have no class or no class abilities. They don't have any spells, like things like that. So you have 4. They're pre-generated, so you sit down, and it was super awesome because Charlie was also in the funnel. The funnel runs, I think it runs every day of Gen Con, and they take up to 40 players every day for the funnel. So they just do multiple tables, and they just pair you off when you get there. So Charlie met us down there, and 3 of us got to play at the same table with 2 other people. So there was 5 of us, I think, at the table, and we had 4 characters each. So that's, if you do math, 5 times 4 is 20. So we had 20 characters. It's a 4-hour long game. We had a fantastic judge. His name was Luau Lu. And he was wearing like this nice Hawaiian shirt. He was super awesome. And so what was amazing about that was everybody died except my guy. I had 1 person that survived.
Nice.
I convinced a double-headed ogre to toss me up into the sun.
Okay.
Out of the weird dungeon we were in. Successfully managed my agility saving throw so that I didn't die when he tossed me up there, and made my way to a great big boat. And I was on my own, and everybody else ended up dying in the weird dungeon. So it was a super cool adventure. Every year they write a fresh funnel for Gen Con, and then they sell it afterwards. So last year, Kim and I actually play tested the funnel for Gen Con, the 2023 one. Rob ran it for us. He tested it for the writer Brendan LaSalle from Goodman Games. And this year we didn't get a chance to play test it, so we were able to play, which was great. And we didn't really know what was happening, which is the best way to play a role-playing game, because otherwise, if you know what's happening, then you're going to lead the game in a direction instead of everybody working together to find the answers.
So sorry, how many people are in a group?
5 to a table and 40 people at a time.
Okay.
So whatever that is, 40 divided by 5. That's how many tables there were. So, and that was 4 hours. So then we ate our sandwich and we booted it over to the WizKids area once again, where we played 3 more Battle Royals of HeroClix and hung out with some of our HeroClix friends. And Nick came by at one point, I think, that night, and then he was headed off to a Lorcana draft, which he did quite well in. He won the playmat.
Yeah, we saw that picture. I think it was on Discord, right?
So we got to play DCC with Charlie, and then we saw Nick, and he went off to do his thing, and once again, did not do great in my Battle Royals, but got to play with some new figures, and it was fun. So that was Friday night. Now, Friday night at Gen Con, they also run the Fan Appreciation event. Last year, I went to the Fan Appreciation event. It's at 8 p.m., but there was no information about Dice Masters. All we got was the information that they didn't know what was happening with Dice Masters. I did not expect any Dice Masters information this year, and we decided not to get tickets to that event, so we didn't go. So instead, what happened was we went out to dinner to a Mexican restaurant, if you're noticing a trend, with our friends Nerdiana and Eris. So we met Nerdiana at PAX and Eris at PAX and their friends back in December. And Nerdiana often plays on dmNorthTV's YouTube channel on Saturday nights with you and Matt, right, Kim?
Yep. Board games, yep.
And Eris sometimes too.
Yep, she comes on, yep.
Yeah. So they were at Gen Con, but they didn't get the 4-day pass tickets. They waited too long, I guess, and they weren't able to get the 4 days. So they came in on Thursday and Sunday, and then they were doing other touristy things while they were in the area. So that was kind of cool. So anyway, so they came out on Friday night. They met us. We went to a Mexican restaurant, a different one, something closer to our Airbnb. It was awesome. And I brought with me Taco Cat Goat Cheese Pizza. Taco Goat Cheese Pizza Cat. Taco Goat Cheese Pizza Cat. And we played that after we had our dinner. And we had a good time playing a few rounds of that, laughing and having a good chat. And so that was really good. And we hung out with them. And then we went back to our Airbnb to rest because the next morning, once again, came more role-playing. So we headed back to the Lucas Oil Stadium for 9 a.m. And we had a Dungeon Crawl Classics game with our friend Martin from Gaming Honors. Martin and his Gaming Honors crew, they stream every second Sunday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time on the Goodman Games Twitch channel. And they write their own content that is for Dungeon Crawl Classics, and they also convert it to D&D 5e. They also sell these things called hero pins. Kim has a hero pin. We all have hero pins around here, which are basically little pins that you wear when you're playing your role-playing game, and you can spin it so your friends know how hurt you are. Instead of saying, how many hit points do you have? You're like, I'm in the yellow. I'm in the red. I'm down. I'm black. Come heal me. So it kind of prevents kind of like metagame conversation and keeps you kind of in character. They're super fun. I have a couple of them. So they were running, Martin was running an adventure called Oh Happy Dagger, which is for the Purple Planet theme of Dungeon Crawl Classics that came out, I want to say last year. We haven't played it yet, so we got in there, and our friend Kate was there. Kate is actually Martin's sister, and we met her as well as Rob's played with games with her before. She's super lovely. And there was 2 other people who actually no, wait, was it that one? Oh yeah, that was the one where we played with the 2 young guys. They were probably in their like early 20s that were there together. They were buddies. And so it was the two of them, Kate, me, and Rob, and the five of us made up that table. I think there was supposed to be 6 at the table, but one person was unable to come. So anyway, so that was fun. We did that for 4 hours, and that was Saturday. We went and ate our sandwiches, and then guess what we did after that, Kim?
HeroClix.
We did 3 more battle royals of HeroClix, where I continued to do poorly. It was, but I still got to open cool stuff, and I got to hang out with cool people, and we did that. So we ended up with a grand total of 9 battle royals of HeroClix, and brought home a bunch of the new set, which is super exciting. Hung out with some cool people, all that fun stuff. And then Saturday night, we went out for dinner somewhere. I don't remember exactly what we did Saturday night. And Sunday, it was back to Lucas Oil Stadium for our last RPG. This was another Gaming Honors product with a different guy named Rob. Rob did one that we went to last year, Rob Swanson, that he wrote for 2023, which was Kickstartered or backer kitted or whatever. He's doing a new one now, so we did the new one. It was a lot of fun. There was 2, 4, maybe 6 of us at the table. We had a great time. Super awesome to do that. And we got to play with Rob Swanson again, which was great. And then at that point, there was no more HeroClix to be had because Sundays, the hall and most of the events end by 4 p.m. So we did a quick boot over to the exhibition hall to pick up a few last minute things that we hadn't picked up yet, including our WizKids HeroClix convention exclusives. Because one thing Gen Con does that's kind of annoying for convention exclusives a lot of the times is they require you to show up at the first thing in the morning and get like a timed ticket. And you have to show up at that time to buy your convention exclusives. But most of these companies on Sunday say, forget that system. We don't want to take this stuff home. Anyone can buy whatever they want whenever they want. Which is what WizKids does. So we don't worry about it. And on Sunday, we just go and buy our exclusives. So we did that. We said goodbye to a couple of people that we wanted to see. And then we went back to the Lucas Oil Stadium, where we met up with Nerdiana and Eris and Nick again. And we played 2 games of Fantasy Realms. And we played a couple rounds of taco, goat cheese, cat pizza, taco pizza, whatever it is. I always call it taco, cat, goat cheese pizza, but I think I have the words in the wrong order. So I don't have it in front of me right now. So we did that, and we hung out with them, and we had a good conversation. And then eventually they kicked us out of the Lucas Oil Stadium because they were taking everything down behind us. And we walked to our cars and started our adventures home. So we decided to go back to our Airbnb. We had our Airbnb scheduled until the next morning. But again, hotel points for the win. We got ourselves packed up and split our drive in half. So we ended up going back to Toledo, spending the night at the same hotel that we'd spent on our way down. I travel a lot for work, so I get a lot of hotel points. So we spent the night there. The next morning we got up. We drove back the rest of the way, and we got home about 5 p.m. on Monday.
Nice.
Yeah.
But you never played any board games.
No, we did do one. I forgot to tell you. So on Thursday, when we were in the convention hall, we went to a booth. Spin Master.
Okay.
So in order to get the promos that we wanted to get for friends of ours that were looking for them, we had to play a game, and the game that we played was Dumb Ways to Die. So it's a fun little game for 3 to 6 players or something like that. And basically it's just a quick card game. But what's unique about it is instead of it just being cards, at the beginning of your turn, you roll a die, and it tells you how many things you can do on your turn, 1, 2, or 3. So each person may not do the same amount of things on their turn, and you can sort of mess around with your players and with your opponents. And it's basically one of those games where you're trying to screw over your opponent so that you live and they die. It's a quick little game. It's a lot of fun. We really enjoyed it. They had a special going on for Gen Con where they gave you the expansion for free when you purchased it, so we picked it up. So we have a copy of Dumb Ways to Die. We also picked up a copy of a Zombies game that we didn't have. Zombies! ! So So that was good. And again, Rob picked up some new RPGs and things like that we're going to end up playing at some point. So we got a few things. We also went to a local game store / board game cafe that had recently opened. I think it opened in March. They were open during Gen Con 24 hours.
Wow. Well, Gen Con is open 24/7, aren't they?
It is, but they were off-site. So they were at their own store. And at their own store, they opened at whatever time they normally open on Wednesday. And they didn't close until Monday morning. So if you weren't doing things at the con, then you could go over to this place called Elephant Moon. So they had a bunch of HeroClix on the shelf. And one of the things that WizKids did was there's been this whole thing with HeroClix. I don't have to get into it a lot. But basically there was an Ultra Chase figure that should have been in boosters, and it appears that it wasn't. So they had decided to do what they called a trade-in. They brought a bunch of this Ultra Chase figure to Gen Con, but they didn't tell anyone about it until Wednesday afternoons. We were already in Indiana when we heard about this. So basically, if you brought in a Chase figure from that particular set, which is Marvel's Next Phase, you could trade it in to get this Kevin Ultra Chase figure. Well, I didn't have a Chase figure with me. So the store had some boosters, and we asked them how much they were, and the owner was like, actually, if you want to clean that shelf off, I'll give you everything for half price. So we bought a boat ton of HeroClix. We bought a bunch of Wheels of Vengeance.
Good thing you drove.
We wouldn't have done it if we'd flown. We bought some Notorious and some Next Phase. We did not pull any Next Phase chases to allow us to trade anything in for Kevin, but we did get a couple of things that we did not have, so that was pretty good. And then the extras we can give to our locals here at the store that we play at on Thursdays. So we'll have some product available to give to them, and there's some stuff that they'll like that are extras for us. So yeah, and we actually did some Instagram lives to open those. So some of those are on the Dice Station Zebra Instagram page. We did lose one. I think Friday night's Instagram live got, for some reason, didn't upload properly. So we lost that one. It's in the ether. So that was pretty cool. I think the best thing that I like about Gen Con is everybody's there to have a good time. No one's really being a jerk. Everyone's pretty friendly. It can be kind of crowded, so you have to be prepared for that. It's very overwhelming if you're planning to go. You kind of have to really plan it out starting in January when the tickets go on sale, and figuring out where you want to stay and all that sort of stuff, because they have the hotel lottery, but the hotel lottery doesn't cover nearly enough rooms for everybody that wants to attend. The total number was over 71,000 people attended Gen Con this year. We get to see friends of ours that we don't get to see elsewhere. We get to play games that we don't always get to play elsewhere, and lots of things to do. There's way too many things to do. You can't do everything. There's things that I don't even know exist that people are doing. So we had thought about going to some concerts while we were there, because there was a boat ton of concerts. Every night there was a concert that we could have gone to. We didn't go to any of them because there was no time.
Well, they plan it well. Make sure everybody's entertained, I guess.
If we didn't have 9 a.m. RPGs booked, then we probably could have gone to a concert. But to go to a concert and then not get back to your Airbnb until whatever, midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning, and then you have to be back at the convention center by 8:30 for your 9 o'clock game. It's just not what I want to do with my time, right? So some people stay up all night playing games, and some people nap during the day, and whatever. Everyone's got to do what works for them. That's not what works for me and Rob. So yeah, but that was pretty cool. We got to meet a bunch of people for HeroClix that we didn't know before. For anyone who doesn't follow the Dice Station Zebra YouTube channel, we are reaching it to 1,000 followers, which is crazy. But we did have this really cool moment I think it was on Thursday. We were just walking into the exhibit hall, or it might have been on Friday. Not important. Anyway, I hear, "Hey, Dice Station Zebra," and I turn around and see these two people I've never heard of before. Apparently, they watch all of our videos, but they watch them on their TV, so they don't comment.
Okay.
Because they're watching on the big screen, and they don't have comments on the screen or whatever. So anyway, so they're like, "Hey, we heard you were here, and I can't believe we saw you," and they were super excited, and I was like, "Oh my God, this is so weird."
It's your 50 minutes of fame.
I know, right? I won't call it fame. But anyway, we had a lovely conversation with them, Michael and Azabel, I think it was. Anyway, so it was super nice to meet some people and not something I ever thought that I would hear. So there was a bunch of people like that we got to meet and chatted with us and talked about how our videos have helped them learn how to play HeroClix. And there was a couple of women in particular that had come forward and mentioned that. So Isabel and Zule as well, that was in the HeroClix Battle Royals, that mentioned that to us. So it was really cool, because that's, I know it's the HeroClix side of what I do with Rob as opposed to this podcast side, Kim, but I know we've had podcast people as well, like Danny and other people in the past that have come forward and said, hey, like, I listen to you and I play Dice Masters and, whatever, I'm a girl too type thing. So it is out there. It makes me feel good when it happens.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was super cool. I highly recommend Gen Con. It is overwhelming. If you're going to consider going, join the Fans of Gen Con Facebook group, join their Discord channel, ask questions, reach out to me if you have questions. You can message me in all the usual places, and I can tell you what little I know about it. It's been 3 years that I've done it. And I really enjoy going down there. So that's Gen Con.
Cool.
And there was no Dice Masters news.
Well, you didn't go to did Nick go to it?
I don't think so. I do know people that went, and they told me there was no Dice Masters news. So yeah, so that's it. Did you have any questions?
No.
I feel like I went like day by day, and it was super boring, and I'm sorry.
No. See, I would be the complete opposite. I'll be going playing all board games.
Yeah, I mean, the first year we went, we did some other board games. Like we did a Wingspan and a couple of other things, but it's so overwhelming, the catalog. Like there was over 28,000 events.
Yeah, I think you would have to pick your specific one you want to go for. I don't think you could just like go and willy-nilly just walk up and play a game.
No, and most of the stuff is sold out. Although with that said, a lot of people, like, either things happen and they can't make it to events, and maybe they can't cancel their ticket or whatever. So there is the option for you to show up and get in with what they call generic. So you can buy generic tickets, and you just give them however many generic tickets. They're all worth $2. So if an event's worth $10, you give them 5 generics, and then you can get in if there's space. Because like Nick played in a bunch of Lorcana drafts, and it was all sold out, right? He didn't have tickets for any of that stuff, I don't think. He just kind of walked up and was able to get in on generics. So, you just have to kind of plan what it is you want to do. But it is very overwhelming. But I got all my shopping done. I got everything that I could get for everybody that wanted it. And I have it available for said people. And we'll be making deliveries over the next few weeks. So yeah, it was a good time. We made the best of it. We had a little bit of weather on the way back, some rain, some really bad storm came through, but yeah, overall it was a good trip. And I'm glad we broke the trip up into 2 driving days both ways, because it's a long way. So,
how long is the drive?
So if you didn't stop and the border was like smooth sailing right through, it's like 8.5, 9 hours. But obviously you can't drive and not stop and not go to the bathroom and not eat and not go to the border and things like that. So,
right.
So I think we spent about 6 or 7 hours on the road on Tuesday, and then on Wednesday it was like 3.5, 4, and similar on the way back. So like 4 and then 7. But we were able to get through the border pretty easily because we were ahead of the game. Toledo is not actually that far from the border. It's about a little over an hour from the Detroit border. So most of the driving we did on Monday was in Canada.
Is Memphis further?
Oh, way further.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, driving to Memphis, like I would still fly, even though I have to connect. If I went to Memphis, let's say if I went to Graceland right now, on Elvis Presley Boulevard, from my location, the internet is calculating 15.5 hours.
I guess you could still split that in 2 days, I guess.
Basically double.
Yeah.
Right? Basically double what we just did. It's too much. Like, I don't have enough vacation to do that all the time. Like, this worked out because we could leave on Tuesday night and the Monday was a holiday. Right?
Yeah.
So I only had to take Wednesday, Thursday, Friday as vacation days, which were 1 travel day technically, and then 2 days of convention plus the weekend, and then we had a holiday day because the first Monday in August is always a holiday here in Canada. So,
and that's when Gen Con falls, the first first stuff in weekend in August.
First weekend in August, yep. So yeah, it was good. I highly recommend it. Everyone's Gen Con experience is different. So.
Mm-hmm. It depends what your taste is.
Yeah, I know people that only did HeroClix. I know people that only did Lorcana. I know people that only hung out in the exhibit hall and did shopping, right? Didn't do any events at all. So there's all kinds of stuff that is there. And there's like I looked into it. There was like crochet classes and mini painting and like all kinds of things that you could do. It's just how much time do you have? And it's so big because like 71,000 people doing events. Like, it's not just the convention center and the stadium. It's also like all the hotels nearby, all the hotels that are connected to the convention center, all run events in their boardrooms and meeting rooms and things like that. So like sometimes if you book an event, for example, and you're in the stadium, and then let's say your next event is in the JW Marriott, well, you've got to get out of the stadium, walk all the way through the convention center, and then cross into the JW Marriott to find it. It could take you like 20 or 30 minutes just to walk that far. So it is vast. It is very, very big. So you have to keep that in mind when you're booking your events, that you give yourself enough time to go places and get to where you're going in between and all that fun stuff. So
I would like totally like shut down the whole area and like rent out golf carts.
Haha, wouldn't that be nice? They do have those scooter things
that the people run.
Yeah, like the Lime or whatever.
Yeah.
But there's certain areas of downtown where they're limited, so you can't actually get them too close to the convention center. Also, there's a bazillion amounts of construction down there because they're putting more hotels in. So they're expanding hotels, and the hotels are under construction. So there's areas that are completely shut down with construction, and it's kind of awkward to find like parking, and sometimes it's hard to drive. So we had pretty good luck with parking. The first day we parked, like Wednesday, we parked at the mall. Thursday we came in a little bit later, and we couldn't get into the mall. It was full, so we ended up parking at the stadium, or just by near the stadium. And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we parked at the stadium because our events were there in the morning. But like honestly, getting out of the stadium to go just to the exhibit hall and get to the WizKids area took like 20 minutes. So you're pushing against the crowds, and
They should make like better like walking paths or something.
I mean, it's pretty good, I have to say. A lot of it can be done inside, which is nice because it was very hot. Very, very hot, and there's not a lot of shade down there. So you can walk from the convention center into the Lucas Oil from inside, and vice versa. And I don't think it's any shorter or longer to go outside. So it's just big. It's just big distances.
Lots of people.
Lots of people. So yeah, so we had a great time. I had a good time. We got a couple things to bring back. We did some Instagram lives. We met some people, played some games, and that was our Gen Con.
Cool.
That's all I got.
Till next year.
Till next year. Yeah, it was great to see Nick and Nerdiana and Eris and Charlie. It's great to hang out with all those folks, and we had a good time. So that is Gen Con, and who knows, maybe next year there'll be Dice Masters news.
We can only hope.
We can only hope. And on that note, I think that's all we've got for today, Kim.
Yeah.
Is there anything else we wanted to talk about?
I had nothing. Did you?
I don't know. Is there the thing that we were talking about in the Discord that's not announced yet?
Oh, there's talks about it.
Should we mention it, or is it secret?
I'm not sure if it is secret, but
It's not secret now.
we're just still fine-tuning the details.
I think it's fair to say you put some public information out.
Yeah, I mean, yes, dmNorthTV is planning on doing a Dice Masters tournament of some sort.
We just don't know when or what it's going to look like yet.
Correct. But it is going to happen. We just got to put our brains together and come up with something. So,
yeah, if you have anything you want to weigh in on, there is some polls in the various Dice Masters Discords. Right now, I think we're just trying to decide if it's going to be a 2-team takedown over multiple weeks or a single day event, and then if whatever it is, what the theme is going to be. So if you have any skin in that game and have any suggestions or ideas, you can definitely pop your head into the Discords and share your thoughts. But more to follow on that.
yes, hopefully soon.
Yeah, as soon as we figure it out. So, I mean, Kim, we're putting out more Dice Masters content than WizKids is. I think we're doing fine.
Yeah.
So on that note, if you went to Gen Con, what did you do? Have you ever been to Gen Con? What were your thoughts on it? Let us know what you think. If you have any requests for upcoming episodes about Dice Masters, because this one was not about that, please,
A little bit.
please feel free to let us know what you'd like to hear. I think we're going to continue our keyword series after this, right, Kim?
Yes.
Yeah, so more keywords to come, and open to suggestions on what you'd like to hear. So you can reach out to us in all the usual places, which includes, number one, joining our Discord channel, dmNorthTV. You can also at us on Discord. Kim is at SuperK. I am at JoStitch, JOCE Stitch. You can find us on all the socials, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter X, Threads, at dmNorthTV. You can go to our website. We still have one of those, dm-north.com. You can find us on YouTube at youtube.com/dmNorthTV or on Twitch at twitch.tv/dmNorthTV, where Kim and Matt play board games almost every Saturday night with some special guests sometimes. And I think that's all the places. Oh, don't forget you can email us at tripledpodcast@dm-north.com. So until next time, on a double and dice.